Hey there, beloved Ascension Pioneers. I'm back with another energy update, and this time it's the kind of update that will help you to do your own updates, to do your own energy readings and assessments. And I just was running today and I was thinking about this and what I should record and how I should present this to all of you. And there was this inner voice saying, well, you're here not to give, not to only share your own experiences, energy updates, but to help people to reconnect back with that state of awareness that this is already within you as well, that you already have that. That's already within you. So today I wish to do the kind of video that will help you tune into the energy yourself. Well, when I share energy updates on my page, it is very important to know that these are my assessments. These are what I'm going through. So my experiences, my personal walkthroughs as I'm walking through the energy that is being, it's not just that it's anchoring on our planet, but it's anchoring through us. We are the vortexes. We are the pillars of light. And especially as Ascension Pioneers, we're here to, white puffy thing just went through. So angelic guidance surrounding us right now. And it's going to help us to do this together now. So we are doing this because we have chosen to be here. And the first part, I'm gonna tell you how to do this yourself. The first part is the most important thing is for you to be aware that you already have this within you. That because you're intrinsically connected to all life, you can read energy, you can read things, that the only thing that can prevent you from experiencing that is you saying, no, I can't. I'm not that open. A lot of times people, when they shared with me, they say, well, I feel something the same, but I'm not as much open the way you are. So why would we still have, this inner voice that will limit ourselves? Why would we still limit ourselves with these false definitions that really limit us in this confined space that really is not a space of expansion? And as you know, beings of infinite expansion within creation is who we truly are. So first part is you really have to come into terms with peace, making peace with yourself, that you can read energy, that of course you're experiencing it in a unique way. You're going through these things in your own personal, experience within your own soul journey. But you need to know that you're always reading the energy. You're always feeling the energy that is right for you in that moment. So a lot of times when I share something, what I'm experiencing, some people will say, wow, but I feel differently. Well, yes, this is the point, you see. It's the point that you feel these things. And because we're feeling beings, and especially now, this summer, because all these water alignments and the water energy are inviting us to connect with our feeling side of life. So reading and tuning into the energies of all life, that means not just saying, I am observing nature, I'm feeling all of this, but really feeling ourselves as an intrinsic part of it. And then know that it's organic to us. It's natural that we can do this. It's like animals. They're always connected. I have to go now for a second. Hey, Ascension Pioneers, I'm back. I really wasn't alone at the first spot, so I had to leave because I need to be alone to do these things, So I found another spot, and I will continue with the energy update. I will give you one example first. I was recently, when I received one of the cards, oracle cards that I purchased, these are the Oracle of the Fairies, there was one card that was blank. And what it said there was, find your own fairy guide, tune into it, tune into it. And this is the sign that whenever you will receive this card, it's your own inner knowing, your own inner intuition working with you. And another thing that wrote in that book was, you yourself first, before starting to work with the cards and the general overall descriptions that are in the book, that are shared there, first feel the energy of each card, write down the first word or anything that comes through you intuitively, and then start working with them. First get to know the energy and what they mean for you. This is so important, because even, when we receive messages generally, or the energies are activating collectively and they're opening up and the vortexes are opening up, we're still all of us going through things on our own level and are fusing with our own soul awareness and walking through our own timeline. Well, timelines are all merging into one anyway, but what I mean is we choose a certain experience and then we also get a message and the energy that will be individual for us in that moment, that will be unique. So for example, you might see an animal, like what happened to me yesterday when I saw a dead animal, which was a dead mole. And there's like a general meaning that you can find online on a certain oracle book or an animal totem book or whatever. You know, someone else might say to you what this means for you, or, you know, but it will always be a general meaning what this animal or whatever represents. But what is the message there for you personally will be what you will feel in that moment. So the divine messenger for you will just come through that situation, or a person, or an animal totem, or just in nature in general, you know, like plants or trees or whatever. It's something that will really draw your attention, particularly in that moment. For me, yesterday, I found a dead mole. You know, I was returning after my run. I had music in my ears, you know, when I just listened to some meditation music. And then I passed by something and I just couldn't stop looking at it. And I had to return, and I went back there, and this guy was looking at me really strange. Why am I picking up something from the floor? Because I was so guided to pick the animal up. And the animal was dead. It didn't have a head. And I just was so guided to bury it. I just couldn't, you know. And usually before, when I was little, I had these fears of dead animal bodies and animals dying, and I was always crying. I couldn't watch movies. And such situations happen. And what occurred was I was just so strongly guided, and I was really neutral about the whole experience. I didn't feel emotional. I just felt I need to do this because I'm called to do it. So I took the animal there to the first tree there that I felt guided to, and I buried it. I did this like sacred prayer. I called on the spirits and the spirits of nature and the angelic guidance. And at the end, I asked myself, okay, but what is the message here for me? So I was digging for the message, but first of all, before exploring it online, when I was returning home, I was just sensing the message. I was feeling, I said, okay, what does this death represent? And there was no surprise that when I came and searched this online, it was very similar explanation that I already felt myself. So you can test this with your own skills. First, before jumping into anything, before reading about anything, tune into your own inner senses. And even if it's just a tiny thing that will match what is being shown or written there, or what is being said and expressed in a general sense, you will feel that your intuitive feeling about it will be much stronger. And the more you will practice this, you will see that your intuitive sense will keep prevailing and prevailing, because you will start trusting yourself more. It's not that I'm more gifted, it's that I'm more knowing of this gift. You know, that's the only thing. Because we all have these gifts, and because we're all beings of the same one source of all, we can feel things. We're sentient beings, and of course our senses were so deprived because they were just cut off from the whole general population and the whole manipulation of humanity. And it was believed that, you know, the mind was the driver. It wasn't the heart. It wasn't the feeling side of life. And now we're returning to this. That's why nature is becoming important to so many of us. And so many people who are also sharing in my page with Ascension Pioneers are saying very much the same things. And it's very popular when I post an energetic update, because people love this. Because not just they can see my own sharing, they can more see either confirmations about their own impressions and senses, or they can start being more triggered to feel them more. It's all a process, and we're in this together. But my main focus in my work of service will always be not just to share and say this is how I feel, this is how it is, but to make you aware that I'm just an example and you have the same senses. So for example, a lot of people now in this retrograding period, or there's always planets retrograding and turning indirect again, and it's like universe sometimes wants us to pause about something, wants us to reflect, wants us to take a break, because we can just move forward. Sometimes we gotta just be, you know, because the masculine and the feminine are merging together as one. So a lot of people now have still these fears or false beliefs about what a retrograding period is. But when you will be able to tune into the energy yourself, just plug into it, you will ask yourself, okay, what does this retrograde mean for me? What does it really mean for me personally? What does it truly mean in the general absolute truth? You will get there. First start feeling for yourself personally, and then you will get higher and higher to the grander. And that is how you will become your own master of energy. And you will come more and more from your personal soul experience to the greater truth of the absolute, of why there's certain planetary constellations and alignments as they are, and why certain star systems mean certain things and other mean other things. And you'll be becoming more and more open, because that's how we expand. We expand the awareness of our own, let's say, this person that I am, Purana, that's embodying the soul of me. and the higher awareness, and then we even expand higher to the oversoul and the head oversoul, and grander, grander, and grander. So the more that we're in this expanded state of our I am, within the great I am, we will feel things that are also within the absolute truth of one, that is eternal. So we're kind of beings that know both sides of life, because we're already eternal, we're already there. But when we go into creation, when we plunge into creation, we're also infinite, and there's a lot of options, and there's a lot of exploring. So in embodying these higher aspects of our being, we can actually feel both at the same time. We can feel how it is to have a human experience, while at the same time you're connected to the oneness of all. So my point of this video is that you already are this. You're already an energy reader. You don't have to go to the energy reader to tell you what's in the stars for you, or what's your fortune, or anything like that. Feel things, sense them. Like, you can always do this exercise. Whenever you see, like for example, you'll see an animal totem. Go within. The first feeling, the first impression that comes. What is it for you? What is the meaning for you? Like for example, the mole that gave me message yesterday was a death, a certain transition. Very huge ending of a major cycle, and because he was also without its head. And a funny thing, another divine companion confirmed that she received the same message and the same experience is what she had this week. And it's because the mind way of approaching things is dying. So the new cycle is all about the heart. And as you know, the mole is very diligent, very good, and does a lot of work. It's a kind of tiny workaholic underground. It's also the shadow. You know, he's always underground, so he represents the shadow. So there's a certain death or resurfacing of the shadow, because he probably, the little guy, climbed up to the surface and something beheaded him, like an animal, probably a cat or something. I don't know. It's also important to know why you are reading energies. Are you reading them out of curiosity, which is ego? Are you reading them because it's natural to you, because you're plugged into all life? You know, you're plugged into source. You know, certain people are just wanting to read energy because they're curious, or they want to know things about others. That's coming from the ego. Forget about that when you're in a path of ascension. It's really important that it comes from the purity, and when you're pure, you will be given your natural abilities and gifts anyway. They'll just flow through you constantly. And that's the only thing different about me is, you know, when people say, oh, you're more open to this. Yes, it's not that I have these gifts and you don't. It's that I'm maybe just more open to them because I activate them through this inner knowingness. This is the first level. This trust needs to be built. This soul awareness needs to be embraced. And this individuality also needs to be embraced, so that this thing, whatever it is, will have a unique message for you. So let's take, for example, when I breathe deeply and ask myself, what does this Mercury retrograde in Cancer mean for me, for example? This is just an example given. It's like we're retrograding in a way how we communicate through the heart. Because a lot of times we were communicating with the mind. And the old way of communication just needs to die. So when you look at it from a third dimensional perspective, which people who still believe in that, when they fear and they think it's all about computers not working, don't purchase anything, don't sell anything, don't travel, you know, these are all the don'ts. That's not really how it is in creation. Universe never tells you don't do this or don't do that. It tells you maybe take a pause and shift in your awareness at this time that's been given to you for reflection. So when I tune into the energy of this Mercury retrograde, for me, and when I expand, I will also feel it more collectively. I will feel that it's about the way how we communicate through the heart. I'll give you one example. Our agent recently told us, you have to be very harsh with people when you come there. When you make your offer, you just come, you say, I'll give you this offer, this and nothing more. Don't talk to them like in a very emotional or sensitive way. You're too emotional, blah, blah, blah. Just do it like this and that. Well, we don't do it like that because we're not such people. You know, so you have to trust that this way is the old way. So what this retrograding period in Cancer is, it's like how we communicate through the heart without fearing that maybe we'll do something wrong or that will not be accepted, or, you know, it's just people won't understand us. When you open your heart, you never know. You got to trust that this is how it will be. So this is my energy reading for now. For this period, it's how I feel it. And also communication with ourselves. That means self-honesty. Self-communication will always be directly reflected through self-honesty. So when you communicate with yourself, are you honest? Are you following what you feel through the heart? Are you following your intentions? Or are you just scattering your energy elsewhere? Or are you doing things for others instead of yourself? This is also what this period is really important for. So when you're sensing the energies, trust that what you're receiving is the right thing. You know, maybe you'll be like, oh, but what does Paluna say? Or what does this person say? Maybe I'll go to this energy reader. Maybe you just don't trust yourself enough, you know? There's a lot of people, divine companions that I have, they're really knowing. But maybe they just don't trust themselves well enough. And because I constantly see their soul potential, I help them to activate this on their own, on their journey. And that is a part of my purpose. It's not the only part, but it's a huge part to help you to come into this, to come into your own. And you are an energy reader. Remember, it's not just your hands. Of course, your hands, when you put them, you can feel energies. You can feel the energy of a tree, of a leaf. You can feel when something is alive. You can feel when something is dead. But your hands won't work if your heart is not open, because the heart is directly linked with your hands. So when your heart will be open and activated, your hands, the sensing in your hands will be activated as well. So you got to continue to open your heart to sense this. There is no other way. But you have this already. It's just the heart that needs to be open to the level that will naturally attune you to this knowing part of you, and that you are an energy reader yourself. So you might watch videos about this, or a certain person giving you an energy update. But that's flowing from their own soul awareness. That's how they feel at that moment. That's what they are receiving. You might resonate with some parts of it, but what you are receiving is also very important. It's basically more important. All the other things that come externally will be always serving us as activation triggers. But the real truth, the real feeling will come through our own feeling side of life. Okay, my beloveds, this is what I had prepared for you today. And know that you do have this, because you are this. I'll be leaving you for now, and also I was guided to do kind of like a light activation for releasing these fears surrounding these retrograding periods, because I really think this is important, and connecting to the higher aspect of everything, you know, because like I said, everything, every archetype has a lower and a higher aspect to it, you know, and many stages in between. So our aim here is to connect to the higher aspects of things. You know, for example, a planet Mercury will be, the third dimensional awareness of it will be, you know, like people fear it. The computers won't work, the communications, technologies surrounding communications, travels, are these conventional third dimensional physical things. But there's also a fifth dimensional frequency of the planet Mercury, like all other things. Each part of creation has many multidimensional aspects. And we who are tuning our frequencies higher, the lower frequencies won't affect us any longer. So for example, my computer, when it stopped working, it wasn't even, not stopped working, I spilled it, pardon me. I spilled the keyboard. It wasn't even in the Mercury retrograde, and now everything's working fine, you see. And these are things that are really important for us to know, that what will be reflected to us by other parts of creation will always be through our own level of awareness that we have embodied. So if we have moved beyond these third dimensional aspects and we have already transcended them, this just won't have an effect on us. So this is really important. When you're reading energies, read them from your own soul awareness, because this is what will help you. This is what will get you into what you need and right now. What is important for you right now. This is spirit guidance and how it works. So forget about the old. Remember that each part of creation has its own, you know, different multidimensional aspects of it, and we're connecting to those that are aligned with our own, and they are the ones who are influencing us. So this is, I think, the light activation that I will do to connect us to these higher aspects and releasing the lower fears about it. That's it. Have a blessed journey, and I'll talk to all of you soon. Until then, much love. Bye.